Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world.
Time! Three on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Taylor's gone. Come on, touchdown, Indy! Woo! IU! America! They got a football team now!
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop!
Now, here's Jim Coyle.
Welcome in, everybody. How are you doing today? Glad to have you along. Dylan Sin joining us right off the bat. And a big night last night, Dylan, for the Indiana basketball team as Darren DeVries gets, I guess you'll call it a signature win. You kind of have to. I mean, they're 13th ranked. That is the fourth out of, I think it's the fourth out of the last fifth time Purdue has come in ranked and gotten spanked. Indiana has a penchant for, they used to have a penchant for knocking off ranked teams, but a great win for them last night. Purdue has lost 3 in a row now, Dylan, but that's a solid win for this Hoosier team. But to finish it, that was the thing for last night. They finished, they held on, they didn't give up the lead, and I've thought this about Purdue, man. They are just so susceptible to good defense, but it was the 3-point shooting that probably did them in last night.
Yeah, I mean, and that is the thing with Purdue is that they give up a lot of threes. What they want you to do is they're gonna pack the paint, and they're gonna try to make you make threes more often than not, right? They've done a pretty good job most of the year at forcing teams to make them, and then winning because teams don't make enough. And then now 2 games in a row against Indiana and Illinois, teams have made more than enough to win, right? Like Indiana was 12 for 33 last night, which isn't a great percentage, but it's enough to get you over the top. And so, like, obviously there were missed assignments for Purdue. They're not trying to give up 12 made 3-pointers, but that's kind of their defensive identity. They give up a ton of threes. And so we'll see what happens going forward with both these teams. But I do think for Indiana, that is their first quad 1 victory, which is kind of like whether you want to call it signature for Darren DeVries or not. Obviously, I think it is a huge rivalry win at home in that kind of environment. But it was a quad 1 victory, which Indiana did not have before this season. They were 0-6. And so now they get that one. They move more than likely to the right side of the bubble as it sits right now. And you start to feel pretty good about yourself if you can get a split on the West Coast trip next week. So Indiana is back in the mix after it kind of looked like things were unraveling for them there for a week or two. We'll see what happens going forward. But a win at a moment they badly needed it. One stat that I thought is pretty interesting is that Purdue has been a ranked team. You do kind of, to your point, Purdue has been a ranked team at Assembly Hall 26 times since Assembly Hall opened in 1972. 26 times. They are 8-18 in those games. Purdue is. They've come in as a ranked team 26 times and have lost 18 of those games, including, as you said, 4 of the last 5. And so that's pretty interesting is that even Purdue's best teams come into Assembly Hall and really struggle. Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, and Trey Kaufman-Wren are going to finish their careers 1-3 at Assembly Hall. That's one of the best classes in Purdue history, and they went 1-3 against some pretty mediocre Indiana teams. Frankly, this year's team seems to be getting better, but some of those teams that beat them, they were just okay. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, and it took an effort that we didn't know that this team had, to be honest with you, because they had been in this position a few times and had this opportunity. Nebraska is a great example. That 16-point second half lead at home. weren't able to hold that, but they get this one done, and it is just a huge win for this team in so many ways. You mentioned that they were they're out of the picture as far as postseason. Well, hello, they're back in the picture. I don't know if this will put them back in the actually in the people's brackets. Do you think that is the case? Is that good win over that team enough, or are they still another win short? I think.
I think it would put them in right now because basically there's only so many games that have been played right now. As you get later in the season, it takes more to move yourself. But like we're still in late January, so one win moves the needle a little bit more. At least for Lenardi, they were, and obviously there's other bracketologists as well, but Lenardi had IU as one of the first four out going into last night. My guess is that put them among either the first four in, or the last four in, or the last four buys. And most brackets have them in as of right now. So it would be close if the season ended today, but I think they would be in there largely on the strength of a lot of when they win their games, they win big. And then on top of that, winning this game against Purdue, I think they would probably be in if the season ended today.
Well, that's great news for Indiana fans, and a surprise because this team was kind of heading in the wrong direction. That 4-game skid really, it was like, oh boy, that's going to be hard to overcome. But fortunately, other than the loss at Minnesota, none of the losses have really hurt them, I don't think, because they're legit losses. I mean, you can hey, well, they're not supposed to win this game. But I always say you got to win games that you're not supposed to win. Not all of them, but you've got to win a couple of games that you're not supposed to win. They have to go on the road somewhere and pick up a win. I know Rutgers, but I don't know that really counts. They're kind of reeling. So they've still, I think now they might be, they're definitely a bubble team, as Jason says. No doubt. But now you got to ride that bubble, Dylan, and that's just a hard thing to do. That's like riding a Bronco, man. You don't know what's going to happen. Boy, get away from the bubble. That's the thing. If you can get away from the bubble, and kind of ensure yourself, but that's just all that takes is wins. And who knows, they could string a couple of wins together. As you mentioned, you split on this West Coast swing, that's a win. Because I just watched UCLA a week or so ago beat Purdue at home, handed them that first loss to get that 3-game losing streak for the Boilers started. And that was a great game, though. That's going to be a tough place for Indiana to go in and play. USC, they've gotten better, and they've been battling. So this is not going to be easy.
No, absolutely not. And that's one of those things you talked about, winning on the road. That's what they have to do next week is they have to go win on the road. They have to go win at USC, at UCLA. One of those two probably needs to be a win for you to feel pretty good about yourself coming into the first week of February. And those are good teams, right? Neither of them is going to be a gimme. I think they'll both be quad 1 games as well. And so you have a couple of opportunities. And that's what's so good about the Big Ten this season is that it's deep. Right. There are a lot of teams that are going to be quad 1 opportunities for you here down the stretch. That means there's not going to be a lot of guaranteed victories, but there's also going to be a lot of opportunities to really improve your resume. So Indiana is going to have a chance to make its case down the stretch of the season here. They're playing better than they were. You could tell that last night meant something to them. And the question is, can they bring that intensity to the rest of the season when it's not in your house, when you don't have an enormous crowd behind you, when it's not the rival that you've been waiting to play the whole year? Can you bring that same intensity? Because they were intense last night. They played really, really hard in a way that we haven't seen a lot of this season, right? Like they played hard in spurts, but for a full 40 minutes, they played really hard last night, minus that few minutes where they kind of just got tight and let Purdue climb back into the game there toward the end. So they need more efforts like that consistently across 40 minutes. Now, part of it, and Darren DeVries said this after the game, was that they are shorthanded right now. Obviously, missing Jason Drake and Josh Harris the entire season has been tough. And then you throw on top of that Tate and Conaway being hurt right now. There's a lot of minutes for a lot of guys, and they were pretty gassed at the end of that game. So it's going to continue to be a problem that down the stretch it's going to be hard to close out these games because these guys are tired. They're playing a ton of minutes. But can you get over the hump in some of these games? They finally did last night. And getting Tate and Conaway back would be huge going forward. They need him to be a creator up the dribble too.
Yeah, and that brings up a great point. To think that they were able to get this done without him is a great surprise. But a big part of that is the emergence of Nick Dorn. He has become a dude, as I said last night in the presser. I asked, I'll pull this up in a second, but I asked Darren DeVries about that. I say, hey, man, he's become a dude for you guys. Because he's had 20 points in the last game, and he's right there, basically tied as the leading scorer for this game. I know he's a point behind, but when you're able to count on someone like that, if you can start to count on him consistently, Indiana had no third guy. As a matter of fact, their second guy was slumping, and so Indiana was going through that bad period. You've got nobody doing anything really, and you can't count on Lamar Wilkerson every night. I mean, just the odds are not against you. So that is huge. I still think they need somebody else to keep developing him because we saw last night, Dylan, Trent Sisley, and I forget whom else they didn't see the floor a lot. I mean, they came in and did some stuff when they were in there in that short time, but they were not on the floor a lot. It was a very compact lineup for Darren DeVries.
Yeah, and I guess the question now is, can you get a little bit more from Josiah Miles, right? He played 15 minutes last night. That was the most minutes he's played since the first game of the season. Obviously, Conaway being out is a part of that. I thought he did some good things. He hit a three. He had a couple of assists. He had a couple of rebounds. They called him their most physical rebounder. I think it was Enright that called him their most physical offensive rebounder, which is pretty interesting. So we'll see whether he continues to grab some minutes. He's a super athlete. The jumper isn't quite there to the consistency that you'd want overall, but it's hard when you're not getting that many minutes. It's really hard to be a consistent shooter when you're not getting consistent minutes because shooting is so much about rhythm. So we'll see what happens there. I think that he could be a guy who steps up and starts to have a bigger role as the season goes on, just because he's a fresh body with fresh legs that hasn't played a ton this season. And so we'll see as that goes forward. But I do think in terms of Dorn, he's been terrific, right? And the thing with Dorn is that he's only a junior. He's one of the guys that has another year left. So he is going to be a huge building block of this team in the offseason, where you go into the offseason and say, all right, who wants to play point guard for this team next year? Do you want to have Nick Dorn finishing shots for you because you're going to get a lot of assists? I think that's a huge piece of this as well. So Dorn was 4 for 8 from 3 last night, and then he had one where his foot was on the line. So basically 5 for 9. He was 6 for 10 against Rutgers. So he has 11 for 19 basically from beyond the arc over the last 2 games. Just an absolutely heater he's on right now. Really, really good pickup for Indiana that's going to pay dividends for multiple seasons. And he is going to be able to be a huge piece for this offense. We saw it down the stretch last night, right? Like Tucker DeVries, you talked about how he was in a little bit of a shooting slump. I don't think he took a shot in the second half last night, which it worked, right? Like there were some possessions where he was facilitating entirely, and Purdue took him away, and IU was able to win anyway because of what Nick Dorn was able to do in support of Lamar Wilkerson. And so I think that's a huge development for this team. And you talked about needing a second guy and a third guy. They're finding them slowly as the season goes along.
Yeah, and that's what happens with teams. They grow, they get better, and that's why you can't have these early prognostications, because we just don't know. We don't know, first of all, what a team really has, and then how they're going to develop. This team has been slowly developed, partly because of injuries that they dealt with, and partly because they're, I hate to use the word shorthanded, but they don't have all of the correct pieces, I think, is maybe the best way to put it. But they're still a pretty damn good team because of the tools they have. The 3-point game of theirs, it can be wicked and lethal. as long as they don't give up the defense, because that is where they had kind of really faltered going down the stretch with these teams. Not to say the shooting didn't go away at times as well, but you've got to have you can't fizzle out. You've got to continue doing the everything you're doing through the end of the game, and I think that they hadn't been able to do that for one reason or another. Last night they were, and you saw the result. They don't just win; they beat a good team that has All-Americans on it, that has potentially the Player of the Year on it. What did they end up holding him to?
I think he had 14, 5, and 5, but it was like he didn't have an assist in the first half, and it was like they did a really good job on him. I thought, like
that's huge.
Yeah, they took away what he really wanted to do, I thought. And so it like their defense I thought was really good last night. Like Purdue closed the gap there late in the game, but it wasn't because of the defense, it was because the offense was kind of struggling a little bit. They turned the ball over twice. They in one stretch there they missed a couple of front end free throws, which you'd like to do a little bit better on. But their defense I thought was able to kind of just hold on, right? Like they weren't perfect. They gave up some baskets inside, but they're so undersized that Purdue was always going to get some buckets inside. It was just a question of, can you make it as difficult as possible for them? And talking about Tucker, I thought Tucker was really good in post defense against Trey Kaufman-Renn a couple of times. Like Trey Kaufman-Renn is a very, very, very good player and very strong in the post. And Tucker is giving up a couple inches to him and a significant amount of weight. And he battled in there. He didn't play perfect defense. He wasn't going to, but he made it tough for Kaufman-Renn. Kaufman-Renn had 23 points on 9 for 14 shooting. It's a good night for him, but I thought Tucker really battled him, made him work. And that was a huge piece of Indiana's defensive effort as well.
I will say, yes, you are correct, Justin. Kurt Signetti was there. They brought the national championship trophy out just before the game with a few players, and then for the game, Kurt Signetti sat courtside, and maybe it brought the magic. Who knows, man? Maybe these guys are playing hard. They didn't want to have Signetti up in their ears. But a great showing, and it's great to see for the crowd. Great crowd that showed up. It was about 99% full. There was one little bitty corner up in the other balcony that I saw that wasn't filled. But I'll tell you, that's for a Tuesday that is following this snowstorm out in this bitter cold. Man, you can't ask for more than that. And the home court had a big help to that game last night, and that's the way it's supposed to be. We'll hear from Darren DeVries later, but he praised that. I mean, that's the first thing he said in his post-game presser, Dylan, was, "Oh man, you got to give it to this crowd." They were, and I've got to be honest, I felt the energy. I felt the energy right off the bat. There was energy in that building.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you walk in, I got there about 2 hours before tip off. And so it was about an hour before they opened the doors for the students, and the students were lined up out the door around the side of Cook Hall and down the parking lot, right? Like they were there an hour before the doors opened in the freezing cold, lined up to get in and get seats, right? Like this was a really good showing from the Indiana student section, and they totally filled that space up and were very loud and very boisterous the entire game. And it really did give Indiana a boost. It felt like they were feeding off that energy from the opening tip, especially when they went on that run toward the end of the first half, where, I mean, Matt Painter said it himself, Indiana was the tougher team in that stretch. And so that was kind of the game turning run. It was close. And suddenly IU was up double digits at halftime. And it felt like that really was the difference in the game. And I think they were really feeding off the crowd during that stretch.
Yeah, and it was needed. You had to see that. We had to see that team do this, or it was over, in my opinion. I mean, not if they lost the game, but the effort. If they didn't at least give a winning effort, even if they had lost, I think the season would have been over at that point. And I know that sounds, doomsday. And I'm not trying to say it that way. What I mean is, I think that, they would have reached the point of no return. They were, because they were kind of heading towards it at this time of the year. You've got to have, some wins, do something. And it hadn't really happened. Boom, they make it happen. And so they stay in the game. And now they wake up all these bracketologists. Okay, hey, we're still here. We are still here. And so yeah, they're still hanging around, but they looked good doing it, Dylan. That's the thing. They looked good across the board, defense as well as shooting the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing, is that they really did. You could kind of see the vision for this team coming together in real time, right? Like, that was DeVries' whole thing, was we're going to play really hard. We're going to move the ball on offense. We're going to shoot a lot of threes. And that was kind of what you saw last night, right? Like, they again, 12 to 33 from deep. They played good defense. Again, the defensive game plan was make everything tough, fly around, communicate on your switches, which they did a really good job of, and just make things tough. Make every 6-foot hook shot into an 8-footer. And they did that. And Purdue made some of them, because Purdue's a really good offensive team. That's the number 2 offensive team in the country, according to KenPom. But Indiana was able to just make things difficult enough on that team. And that was the defensive game plan. And they executed it really well. And then on offense, they were moving and they were cutting and they were setting hard screens and they were cutting hard. And I think that that's something that we hadn't seen from them for a little bit before that Rutgers game as well. They weren't running their actions as hard as they had been, which Darren DeVries had talked about. So they just did everything a little bit more crisply last night. And that's what you were looking for in that game.
Yeah, it would have been funny with Kurt Signetti there, had he stepped to the microphone and relived his introduction on the court 2 years ago in front of that Purdue game. But yeah, that was funny. But yeah, so what's up next for you? I know you got a roll.
Yeah, no, I will be. I actually will be covering some basketball here in Fort Wayne these next couple of days. Purdue Fort Wayne men's basketball, women's basketball, both are in the mix. In the Horizon League, they have a couple of important games coming up here, so looking forward to covering that the rest of the week here, and of course IU on the road in Los Angeles.
Yeah, they definitely have that West Coast swing, and hopefully they can take some energy with them and split that. That would be great. Well, make sure you're giving Dylan a follow, especially if you are in the Fort Wayne area. He's with the Fort Wayne Journal-Gazette. He is the man. And let me tell you, he puts the miles in, man. I see him at Assembly Hall or Memorial Stadium. He was there. He was there Saturday for that celebration. And I hate to say this, Dylan, that really wasn't worth it. It just seemed like there was, you know what I mean? I'm like going, okay, wow, I think we all should have mailed it in on that one. Should have just let BTN broadcast it and we all just take it in from that matter. But that was just so cold. And there you go.
It was so darn cold. It really was.
Gee whiz. But want to give Dylan some flowers, man. This dude, he travels. And that's important. He comes to games, and I hope IU notices that. Because it matters in a lot of ways. I know this sounds silly, but it matters to where you sit. It matters to so many different things, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does add up. I mean, but I really do enjoy doing it, and like that is part of the reason I do this job, because I get to go to these games. I get to write about this team and these teams as we go through here, and I've just been having a blast with it for years now, and I'm so lucky to do what I do. So of course I'm going to show up, of course I'm going to be there, and the readers of the Journal-Gazette and listeners of this show can always count on me to show up.
There's no doubt about that, buddy. We appreciate you here as well, always. Be safe. Have a great day.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you having me on, as always.
Appreciate you, brother. Dylan Sin from the Fort Wayne Journal-Gazette joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We're going to roll on. Appreciate you being with us. Got a quick break. And before I do, make sure you go to Big Game for those footballs that you commemorative football that you can have. They're right here. Got it in my hand. I know you can't see this on radio, but I'm sitting there spinning the ball. It's actually leather, man. It thing, you can smell the leather on it. But it has embossed, there's the Adidas logo, but underneath that, CFP 2026 and the IU logo embossed on this actual football. Woo! It just makes you want to throw it every time you get a football in your hand. Big Game Football Factory. You can go to biggameusa.com, and actually, if you go to thehoosier.com, you can see a link, the full link that gets you directly to this. And for those living in the Bloomington area, don't forget Dave and Buster's. Man, they've got all kinds of great things going on now. Make sure you stop by and take advantage. They got half-price games from Sunday through Thursday, I believe. It is very new. It's very new. They've got these private booths. It's just so much fun. And you got kids. They've got an adult area, I guess you would say, called a bar. Nice big bar. Kind of located right where these 3 gigantic wall TVs are, and they've got tables you can eat with the family and whatnot. They got some pretty damn good food. That amazed me as well. What a great menu they have there. But stop by and visit the new Dave and Buster's Bloomington, located over on College Mall Road. You can't miss it. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on the Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Looking for a place to have fun with the family, friends, or both? Head to Dave & Buster's by College Mall in Bloomington. Dave & Buster's has a wide array of games for everyone, and Sunday is fun day, half off of all games. There are $10 wings, $5 drafts, $5 margaritas from mom and dad watching the IU games on Dave & Buster's giant wall TVs and flat screens. Head out to the new Dave & Buster's by College Mall in Bloomington. Eat, drink, play. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this.
I think I'm going to start off. I'm going to say the biggest key was that crowd out there. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, that's what makes this place so special. When they're making their run and our crowd kept willing us, to keep fighting and every possession. So it's I want to thank this crowd for their efforts tonight, because that's a huge deal.
Last 2 wins, giving us good.
Out of home court like we have, that's a big advantage. And when that place is loud and rocking like that, it's a big deal for us. And so thanks to everyone that came out and brought the noise themselves.
That was Indiana head coach Darren DeVries right there praising the crowd. That was the first thing he said in his post-game presser. And I got to tell you, when I got there or sat down before the start of the game, and then right at the start of the game, you could feel that the electricity was there, the energy was there, and that it is a huge help to a team. I'm telling you, they feed off of that, and they kind of need that, and that's why home is an advantage for a lot of times. It's just a lot of times it's comfortability, but you just feel that it's like, all right, everybody's on our side, and the noise, it's a tough place to play. I heard guys talking about it last night, how they could barely, Indiana guys could barely hear, and that's the case. That's how it is, and that's how it's supposed to be. As you heard Darren DeVries talk about, rocking the hall, baby, and they did it again last night, and it's so fun to see that happen. Just from a neutral standpoint, it's fun. It's great for college basketball for Indiana to be good. It's you need Kentucky to be good. You want even Duke, all these teams, because they get beat still, and seeing any of those teams get beat is always enjoyable for people, a certain segment of them. But being good, you want to see those good games, and that was a good one. Purdue is a good team, but as I've said, I've said it. Everybody thinks it's a homer take, and it's not. I think Purdue is a really good team, but they're not going to win the Big Ten. They've already got 3 losses, but I already knew that. And I said that. I'm like, this is going to be between Michigan, and I didn't know who the second team was. I thought it would be Purdue, as we all did. And it's not that they're not a good team. They are. I don't think they're a national championship caliber team. You're not going to win a national championship with your main threat in the middle being Trey Kaufman-Wren. I don't see. He's similar to Trace Jackson Davis, but maybe a little more active. But I don't think he's not as good defensively, without question. And that will really hurt Purdue, along with the fact that if I've said this a lot, if you get up in to Fletcher Lawyer and Braden Smith, you're taking away the Purdue offense right there, because Braden Smith is the playmaker for them, and he's a very good one. He's the all-time assist leader in the Big Ten now, I believe. So, yeah, that makes you good. And if you watch him play, the dude's he's always looking. He's a point guard first. That is what makes him such a good and dangerous player. He is a point guard first, and he's a damn good one. Obviously, you lead the Big Ten. That's a big deal, especially with all the scoring he has done. The guy could score. Didn't last night. I mean, he did okay, but I haven't pulled up the stats from last night yet. But that's what you have to do against Purdue. You keep the guards in check. And Indiana did exactly that. Brian says he's going out on a lim and saying Purdue isn't hanging any banners anytime soon. Well, not in basketball. I'm not bashing on Purdue. I'm just reiterating what I said either before the season started or at the start of the season. They're not good enough to win a national championship. I still do not think, and I know that my friend Mike DeCourcy disagrees, but I'm still not sold that Braden Smith is a first-round draft pick. Really? I just don't see it. He got defended last night by IU, a team that has more than struggled with with productive guards that they've faced. Every guard has just feasted on Indiana, but not last night. Indiana did a great job. They hold Fletcher Lawyer to 3 of 10 shooting, 30%. He had 8 points. He was 2 of 6 behind the 3-point line. Braden Smith had a respectable 14 points, 6 of 14 shooting. It's not bad, but he was 2 of 8 behind the 3-point line. Trey Kaufman-Wren was Purdue's leader with 23 points, 9 of 14 shooting. But I've got to say this, of those 9 makes, at least 3 of those, maybe 4, were just wide open walk-in layups or dunks. And then Purdue can look directly at the free throw shooting. They were horrible. They shot 53%, 8 of 15. Can't do that in a tight game. They shoot 48% overall? 35% from 3-point, which is not bad. They were 7 of 20, but Indiana was 12 of 33. Indiana had 11 3-point shots up in the first 10. I was just happened to be looking at something, and it was early in the game, and I'm like, damn, they've already put up 11 3-pointers? It was clear they were what the goal or the plan was last night, and it worked. Lamar Wilkerson ended up with 19 points on 7 of 18 shooting. He was only 2 of 9 behind the 3-point line, 3 of 4 at the free throw line. He grabbed 7 rebounds. I know at one point he and Tucker DeVries were tied at 7 each, which was 14 of the 20 they had at the time. Tucker DeVries didn't break double figures. Again, low scoring output with 9, 3 of 7, all 3-point attempts. 0 of 2 at the free throw line. Now, that was huge because both of those misses were the front end of bonuses. One of them, and they were both in the late stages of the game. So, not knocking, but that could have been a bad deal for Indiana right there. He's got to knock down important free throws, and those were. I mean, again, those were the front end of bonuses. Missed both of them. Purdue got the ball, and down they came. But Tucker DeVries leads the team in rebounding with 10 rebounds. Indiana gets out-rebounded 33-28 overall. But guys doing things that the little thing. Those 10 rebounds by Tucker DeVries, he didn't score a lot, but hey, all 10 of those are opportunities for Indiana to score. Lamar Wilkerson, not a great night shooting the 3 ball, like I said, 2 of 9, but he ends up with 19 points. Connor Enright, big points at the end. Oh, man, big shot he hit. He only ends up with 8 points. He only took 5 shots. He was 2 of 5, all from behind the 3-point line. He was 2 of 2 at the free throw line, as was Nick Dorn. But Nick Dorn, how about the man? 6 of 11, 18 points, 4 of 9 from behind the 3-point line. That's a great night right there. What is that, 45%? Thereabouts, my meager math brain. 2 of 2 at the free throw line, added a couple rebounds. But Nick Dorn has become the guy, a dude. I asked Darren DeVries about that. And I don't know where it is exactly on on this presser, and I'll get that pulled up in the break. But yeah, I think he seems to be relishing that role. And that has been desperately needed for that Indiana basketball team, because their 1-2 punch of Lamar Wilkerson and Tucker DeVries had not had a great second punch. Tucker had been struggling, I guess you'd say, and without a third guy, ergo, there goes Indiana. But last night, what you saw is Lamar Wilkerson was Lamar. Nick Dorn was Nick Dorn. And Tucker DeVries wasn't a complete Tucker DeVries. Not very good shooting. 3 of 7. 9 points, but those 10 rebounds. Still, big deal. Trent Sisley played, probably, they don't have the minutes on here. Not much, but 2 big free throws. Hit them both. That's huge. Freshman coming off the bench, cold, go into the game. Got to knock down a couple of important free throws. You do it. That's winning. That's winning. I could say it's winning basketball, but that's just winning. It's winning in sports. That's executing. Simplistic. It's like an extra point in football. You've got to execute it every time. You miss, that come back to haunt you a lot. Little things. You've got to always do the little things. Whether you look at Indiana football and their season or Indiana basketball, especially Indiana basketball, because when they're a team that is built right now that they need everything that they can get to go their way. And that includes doing the little things. Whether it's grabbing rebounds, steals. Connor Enright's he's been pressed into service because of Tatum Conaway's injury to handle the ball a lot more. And he's stepped up pretty well. Good defense. Fletcher Lawyer, I mentioned, for Purdue, 8 points, 30% shooting on the night. That is a big help. You're holding one of their most lethal shooters to 3 of 10 shooting. He was 2 of 6 from behind the 3-point line. Trey Kaufman-Renn went off a little bit, as I don't want to say predicted, said would happen, because there's no one to stop him, really. 9 of 14. But he was so bad at the free throw line. I mean, Purdue 8 of 15. That just, as a coach, I would just be so PO'd, because those things, that's, again, I just mentioned the little things. That's a little thing. These little things are so big. Free throws are huge. They're free. This is just simple execution. You want to talk about the most basic of execution is shooting a free throw. You stand in a line 10 feet away from the basket. Nobody's guarding you. It's just, you just shoot the damn free throw. Sounds easy. Practice it every day. But when you get in a game, noise, crowd, team, your mind, game situation, all that stuff changes everything, unfortunately. For humans, they're human. Again, little things. Purdue. If you think that Matt Painter's not looking at that, just shaking his head, going, gee whiz, which I'm sure he found a lot of other things that they weren't able to do. They didn't really get scoring from, Braden Smith had 14, and not a bad night, 6 of 14 shooting. He also had 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Indiana had 16 assists compared to Purdue's 13. They just held him in check so well. We've got to take a break. Appreciate you being with us. We'll hear more from Coach Darren DeVries and the boys. Let's see who was in there last night. That was Nick Dorn and Connor Enright. Appreciate you being with us. Got plenty more coming up on this. I can't think of a good word for on this Wednesday, but it's Windy Wednesday. Yeah, it's not really windy out, but hey, we're back with more right after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports. The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
Looking for a place to have fun with the family, friends, or both? Head to Dave & Buster's by College Ball in Bloomington. Dave & Buster's has a wide array of games for everyone, and Sunday is fun day.
Point is this win?
There are $10 wings, $5 drafts, $5 margaritas for mom and dad watching the IU games on Dave & Buster's giant wall TVs and flat screens. Head out to the new Dave & Buster's by College Ball in Bloomington. Eat, drink, play. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on the Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Wednesday. It's still cold out there, unfortunately, at least where I am here in central Indiana. I know that whether you're in Evansville or Fort Wayne or up in the region, it's cold and snowy, eh? Feels a little Canadian. Single digit temps. Not my that's not my bag, man. Getting up to a high of 21 here today. Yikes. And I know it's going to be like that for a hot minute. Yesterday, I didn't know this. I didn't want to go out. The low, -7. Are you kidding me? Wow. High today of 22. Not that I'm giving you the weather forecast, only because of how wacky it is. Getting down to 1. Hold on. Hold on to your down-filled jackets. Warming trend comes in on Thursday. Balmy, 24 degrees. And only getting down to 10. Back to 22 and 4, 20 and 9, 25 and 10, 31 and 19, 31 and 21. Holy moly. Let's just extend this out to 15-day. When are we going to see 32 degrees again? Okay.
a week from today, it will finally cross the that Mendoza line, 32 degrees at 34 for a high that day. But don't get used to back to 29 the next day. But hey, look out, 34 a week from this Friday. Saturday, it's going to get up to 35 with a low of 17, 29, 29, 29, 30. This snow is not going anywhere, basically. Yeah, it's going to be around, so you can go out and play in it, make your snowman. It's going to be here. Last night, Indiana knocked off Purdue in a big win for the Hoosiers. Boy, things are just rolling right now for Indiana. What a great night as Indiana, Kurt Signetti and some players brought out the national championship trophy last night to show the crowd. And as Kurt sat courtside with his wife, Minette, great family. I was thinking there was a picture. Natalie, his daughter Natalie, she's on social media some, but not like other children in the past that have gone on and, been challenging to the, that's not the case there. But anyway, I was just at a picture. I'm like, what a great family. And Kurt's wife, Minette, is, I don't want to say very involved, but she's always around. She is, I guess you'd call her the first lady of Indiana football. It's kind of funny. She just loves football, I think. And being married to a guy like Kurt Signetti, you'd almost have to be just like that. A guy who lives, drinks, breathes, sleeps football, but obviously has been able to balance family. I mean, they have a wonderful family. He's got the one daughter that's is or going to be a daggone doctor, married to a guy from Fort Wayne who's going to be or is a doctor. That's stability. And I'm not talking about it in a way to just talk about them, but you look at Michigan football and where that program was. First of all, I don't care what you think. Jim Harbaugh was a cheating SOB. Cheated. At the time, the rules were what they were, and he did any and everything didn't matter, break rules. Sign stealing scandal. They had this recruiting infractions. He was suspended at the start of his last 2 seasons. His replacement was suspended twice as well. What program has that? None that I can ever think of that had 2 coaches that were suspended because of these things. And back to back, no less. That was rampant at Michigan. They deserve everything they're getting. Ward Manuel, how is that dude still in a job? All of this happened on his watch. Both of those guys. And then with Sharon Moore, you know what happened with him? Michigan's reeling. So they go out and they see Indiana. I'm like, damn, they went out and hired him a 63-year-old coach, and he's kicking the crap out of everybody. Huh. Maybe we need us some 60-something-year-old coach. Well, they did. They needed the stability. And they saw in Kyle Whittingham stability, a guy who does things the right way. He's not going to get you in trouble. He's going to represent you the right way. They finally realized we are in a marketing hell right now. And they were. I mean, I know everybody likes to talk about, the Big Ten winning 3 straight national titles in football, and it's great. But I still question Michigan's. My God, they cheated their ass off. That's the year of the sign-stealing scandal coming out. Yes, they were very good, but we don't know, and we'll never know, if there might have been a game that they would have lost had they not cheated the way they cheated. It ain't cheating unless you get caught. A lot of people say, so you got that going for you. I tell you what's not going for Bill Belichick. First round ballot on the Hall of Fame, didn't make it. And I'm like, I am no Patriots fan. I was like everybody. You almost hated the Patriots because, they won. Bill Belichick made you not like him. Yeah, we played a good game. Defense. They made the tackles. That's a Bill Belichick press conference, or it was. Yes. I mean, it was just gruff and ridiculous in his stupid-looking cut-off hoodies, but he was the point man for a dynasty. A dynasty that the NFL has never seen the likes of, ever. 6, count them, 6 Super Bowl wins. How on God's green earth does he not make it to the Hall of Fame? I don't care if it's on a first-round ballot. Are you telling me he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame? Because even I will say that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. There's never been a coach that probably deserves to be in the Hall of Fame more in the NFL. How I would love to see the breakdown on the votes and say, okay, I need to hear why you didn't vote for him. I'd love to hear why this. Jimmy Johnson goes on a furious rant about his snub. I'd have to listen to that first. I'd be afraid to pull it up without knowing what he said. But that's legit, man. That's crazy. We've got to take a break. We've got lots more coming up. Appreciate you being with us. Let's see if I can pull that up right after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on the Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Looking for a place to have fun with the family, friends, or both? Head to Dave & Buster's by College Ball in Bloomington. Dave & Buster's has a wide array of games for everyone, and Sunday is fun day, half off of all games. There are $10 wings, $5 drafts, $5 margaritas from mom and dad watching the IU games on Dave & Buster's giant wall TVs and flat screens. Head out to the new Dave & Buster's by College Ball in Bloomington. Eat, drink, play. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Wednesday. Glad to have you along. Glad to be here as well. Indiana basketball coming off of a big win last night. Very important for them as they are trying to hang around and make the tournament. Great win because they have been so shorthanded. I mean, they get this win with a very minimal use of the bench. It was pretty much sticking with the main guys, the starters: Lamar Wilkerson, Sam Alexis, Connor Enright, Nick Dorn, Tucker DeVries. Other than that, Josiah Miles, Reed Bailey, and Trent Sisley saw the floor. Now, Reed Bailey was out there quite a bit. Well, the one I'm looking at, unfortunately, does not have his stinking minutes listed, but it was Trent Sisley only played a few minutes, so take that one off. And Josiah Miles did not play much, but he scored 5 points. I mean, so there's 7 points off the bench. It was huge. Every little thing was huge, and it's amazing that Indiana could win that game. That, 1, 2, 3, basically with 6 players. I mean, you use 2 others for a few minutes, but that was basically 6 players. And so Purdue got beat. A team that is good as Purdue, they got beat by 6 guys. That's hard to do. That is very hard to do. Purdue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have 9 guys that hit the floor. And of course, every team has their core, but you need guys that can come off of the bench. And now Reed Bailey's coming off the bench. He's still not that inside presence, but he added a lot. He was 3 of 4 shooting yesterday, added 9 points, only 2 rebounds. That's the one thing about this team is, boy, they don't crash the boards. And for a team that shoots threes as prolific as they do, a lot of long rebounds sometimes, and that's why leading rebounders are Tucker DeVries and Lamar Wilkerson. But a huge win. Let's hear from the combatants themselves. Connor Enright and Nick Dorn came into the press room last night to talk about the win.
Like the Josh.
Yeah, Connor, how did the shot open up for you? I mean, you've played in a lot of games throughout your career. I mean, was that one of the bigger moments you've had in terms of making a shot to kind of go ahead and get the lead?
Yeah, it's up there for sure. Just the guys having confidence in me and shooting every day with some of my coaches, and just being ready when my number's called.
Josh.
Connor, you're relatively familiar with this rivalry, just being from Big Ten country. What's it mean to you to play in this game, and then you look up at the fans, a full house for the first time in your tenure here?
Yeah, it's really cool to see all the fans, packed house. My brother went here, so I know he's smiling far, far away, wherever he's watching the game at. So, it's awesome. It means a lot to everybody at this school, all the fans.
There you go. That was Connor Enright. I don't know why he stopped talking, but if I accidentally stopped that.
I understand how.
Well, I keep accidentally knocking it.
The rivalry means.
kind of when the ball gets swung to you like that. And I mean, only had made one shot all night, and, but you've been around the list a lot. I mean, is there anything at all that goes through your mind when it gets there, or is it just fire away?
No, honestly, when I make them more when I think less. It's pretty easy too. When I got Nick, Tucker, and Lamar hitting shots, I get open ones. So, just let that thing fly.
Nick, when you came on your visit and you walk into the assembly hall and see the banners, is this the type of night against a team like Purdue that you envision when you first come on your visit to a place like this?
Yes, it's always special just to be able to do this against Purdue in this environment, sold out crowd. It's nothing like it. I mean, I could barely hear, so I really enjoy playing in it.
I could barely hear. That's what I was talking about earlier, man. That energy was in the building, and it was apparent and important as Indiana knocks off Purdue. Fourth in the last fifth time that they came in and were ranked, and you heard Dylan Sin earlier. They've come into Assembly Hall over the course of this series 26 times as a ranked team. Out of those 26 games, 18 times they went back to West Lafayette with an L, including last night. That's I think that's the fifth out of the last sixth time now. So rivalries are supposed to be fun and good like that. And that's exactly what we got. And you know what? Darren DeVries really leaned into that, the rivalry thing. You could tell, man, he was pumped up after the game. He was just, when I'll play some more, I think you can just hear it through his voice. He's just, he's kind of jacked, which, I mean, it's a big win. I get it. Big win. But that shows you how important that is to their demeanor, and what that meant. I mean, it was a very important win. It's an important win for him. Yet that's his first signature win as the Indiana coach, and it comes over Purdue, of all people, a ranked Purdue team. That's huge. Those are positive signs. I mean, if this were the Lil Rhodey era, Archie Miller, that would have been another L, and we'd be sitting here talking about how Indiana looks terrible and blah, 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 because that's what it was like. Little Archie never beat Purdue. He couldn't get it done. He was a big part, I think 7 out of the 9 straight losses Purdue handed Indiana. Even Mike Woodson managed to beat Purdue consistently. So you could see that was a difference. And this is as well, because this is an undermanned team. This is not a team that should have won that game. You can't beat good Big Ten teams with 6 guys. Well, sometimes you can. You can at home. Now, what will happen in Mackey? It's a tough place to play. It'll be different. Indiana's won there, and not too long ago. So, but I said before the season, Indiana would at least split this series, and that was at the beginning. And I was a little worried about that going into last night. Not going to lie, but they managed to do what they're supposed to do. Man, I was talking earlier about Bill Belichick. How does he get snubbed? Brian asking, why is the team undermanned? This is Indiana University, no excuse for it. Well, again, I've said numerous times, that's the one question I have. I don't have that answer. So it's a little harder to judge in a first year, but so, yeah, that's just that. But yeah, Bill Belichick, how in the hell? Seriously?
I mean, I'm not a fan. I was never a fan of him, but I don't care. It's like Pete Rose. Well, this is completely different. He hasn't done anything. Pete Rose belonged in the damn Hall of Fame. You think the guy that coached a team to more Super Bowls than anybody in the history of the game, how does he not belong in the freaking Hall of Fame? 6 Super Bowl wins? Went to it 9 times. How's that even possible? I can't fathom that. And that means it wasn't just 1 or 2 guys. It was a lot of guys that did not vote him in. I mean, let's see. From Jimmy Johnson. Well, here you go. Didn't think about this. Kind of forgot about that quickly. If they are using the excuse of Spygate, that's ridiculous. Many teams, including ourselves, this is from Jimmy Johnson, former coach of the Cowboys, tried it. Howard Mudd at Kansas City, who later coached for Bill Polian and Tony Dungy, gave us the idea. He was the best. We didn't get anything and stopped, but many teams gave it a try. Let's see, Robert Parker, MLB bro. I have mad respect for sports writers to be able to say Bill Belichick shouldn't be rewarded for cheating. Yeah. Well, there is that. And there's not just that. Deflategate. Remember that? So, but will Tom Brady be a first round Hall of Famer? First ballot. He was directly involved in Deflategate. Let's see how that is handled. Is it partly because of Belichick's, how he handled the media? Probably goes into it. I can't see them doing that to Tom Brady. But we shall see. We shall see. Speaking of football, Indiana, with the nation's number 1 ranked recruiting portal class from the portal. That's big news. You've got still waiting for decisions of guys like Moonshine Sales, who is a 5-star wide receiver from Lawrence North. I think Indiana gets him, but that's just a guess. Yeah, I didn't mention a lot of guys in the building last night, too. Former Hoosiers, Anthony Leal, Tom Coverdale, Cody Zeller, AJ Moye. I'm sure I'm missing a few, but a lot of guys. Kurt Signetti, Charlie Becker, Charlie B from Nashville, Tennessee. There's a tight ends coach Grant Kane and Pat Kuntz stopped by Zionsville High School to extend a scholarship to 2028 tight end Theo Scott. He's a 6'4", 220 pound. Oh man, he's a prototypical tight end. Wow. Well, they instantly become a favorite, but they join the likes of Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Texas Tech, Illinois, Purdue, and Florida in offering Scott. The dude's wanted, man. Indiana, they don't produce a lot, but they produce some talent. And I've said it a lot. When Indiana starts landing that talent, not all of it, but at least some of it, boy, that is going to be a big day. These guys usually head to Alabama or Ohio State or someplace like that. And now you're bumping heads with the Oregon and Texas Tech, who have as deep a pockets as anybody. Alabama, Georgia, Florida, they all got the money. I even saw Purdue is close to signing a really good quarterback. But they're the number one team in college football, Scott said. They're in my hometown state. Having the opportunity to play there is awesome. It's just, I'm pretty speechless. I got it. It was cool to talk to them. It's just cool. He attended camp in Indiana last summer and then made it to the dominant victory over the Illini during this fall. So he saw how they used Riley Nowakowski. And he really liked how he got him in at fullback in the national championship game and scored a touchdown. He really likes how Coach Kane works with those guys. Man, that would, Indiana, I've already said this. I'll say it again, has the number one transfer class right now. Nick Marsh, Turbo Richard, the lineman from Wisconsin. I can't even think of all the top-end transfers. And we're talking about high-end recruits here. Indiana is jumping into that conversation, but they still have it. And that's okay. They don't have to land all these 5 stars. Don't have to land all the 4 stars. Kurt Signetti and his entire staff have shown they know the players that they need to get. They like the players that they get. They don't look at, I truly believe they don't look at, well, it's not that they don't look at it. They may look at it, but it doesn't mean much to them. Production over potential. That is a mantra that I'm sure it's being adopted by a lot of people around the country in the football world. And deservedly so. You got so many people saying, okay, how in the hell can Indiana do that? Without buying a team. Man, do I get so sick and tired of seeing that just because it's ignorance. It's complete and total ignorance. The funny thing is, you see that stuff online where every one of these people could actually find the actual information if they took 10 seconds to find out what they're saying is completely inaccurate. Cheryl Sizemore said she couldn't sleep after that win. Well, Andrew asking, is football rubbing off on basketball? Well, Kurt Signetti was there. He was certainly there. Indiana also one of the early favorites for a Michigan offensive tackle. All this information at thehoosier.com. Man, it's loaded with it. You can get it, and great deal. If you're not a member, go sign up for thehoosier.com. 50% off. It's $5 a month. But you also get a full year subscription of The Athletic with it. You get access to all of the On3 networks, to all of the teams. You can go on to the rival, who they're playing, or Purdue boards, forum boards, get in there and troll, chat, whatever you want to do. But it also provides a ton of content from the national side, as well as complete and total coverage on the beat locally. But it would be greatly appreciative if you would do that. That's part of how we're able to bring the content we bring to you. Traveling to these games and doing all the things that we do, it ain't free. Shocker. So would appreciate the support. Now, what can Indiana basketball do now going forward? Can they use this? Can they springboard this? Can they just split on this California run? That would be more than acceptable, because going to UCLA and beating them in Poly, I don't expect that. Hell, playing against USC, I think that they might be underdogs in both games. I'm not sure about the USC game. As a matter of fact, I wonder if I can pull that up. Yeah, there's no way that they're not going to be an underdog in that game. But I wonder about USC. They may be like a 2-point dog or something of that nature. Well, if somebody sees it, just send it to me. Yeah, the football schedule came out yesterday. Kind of different. There's only one bye week in college football next season. Just one. And guess what? We'll talk about that. I think it's a good schedule, actually. Lots more coming up. Appreciate you being with us. We're back with all of that and more right after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on the Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Looking for a place to have fun with the family, friends, or both? Head to Dave & Buster's by College Mall in Bloomington. Dave & Buster's has a wide array of games for everyone, and Sunday is fun day, half off of all games. There are $10 wings, $5 drafts, $5 margaritas from mom and dad watching the IU games on Dave & Buster's giant wall TVs and flat screens. Head out to the new Dave & Buster's by College Mall in Bloomington. Eat, drink, play.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Wednesday. Glad to have you along for the ride. Appreciate you greatly. What was I talking about before you went into the break? I slipped my mind, but I'm sure somebody will remind me. I didn't write it down, which is usually what my little ADHD brain has to do. Oh, yes, Indiana's football schedule released now. They will play at home against the Buckeyes. I kind of hate that, because Indiana and Ohio State are favored to be the teams that play in the Big Ten Championship. Well, that's going to make it difficult for one of those teams. Whoever loses that game is going to be on a no margin for error deal. Not only that, you're going to have to hope that someone takes care of Oregon, or what's Michigan going to be like? Indiana has to go to the big house, baby. That's an opportunity to do something they haven't done in a long time. Very difficult. What was the last time that Indiana beat Michigan at Michigan in football? It's been a minute. It's been rare. Very rare. Oh, man, this does not give the date. But here's a 20-15 win. Oh, that was in Bloomington, so that doesn't count. I'll get it pulled up. It doesn't matter, really, because it's been eons ago, and it rarely ever happens. But that is a distinct possibility next season. I looked at that schedule, and I'm like, can they go 12-0? Yeah, they can. But you have to have a lot of luck. I mentioned what the Oregon game. They were not close to losing that game, but I think it was, I forget which game it was. Maybe it was the Miami game. I think it may have been. But they got to Fernando and almost really clearly knocked the ball out of his hands, but that's the one thing about Fernando, either must have some strong hands. Indiana did not fumble the ball but once this season, and that was in game 1. That's a record in and of itself, but can you imagine if they had gone the entire freaking season without fumbling the ball? Okay, how many times do you think that's going to happen? They may still be one of the best at it, but to go through the season, it's incredible. That's part of what they did. That's part of how they approached everything, by not making mistakes. But you've got to have that luck with you as well. Next year, they'll have to have luck. But I think that there's, even though that, and this is crazy. This is crazy talk. They've got Michigan and Ohio State on the schedule. And yeah, I can see them winning both games. I'm not saying they're going to. Beating Ohio State, I don't care where you're playing them. If it's in Bloomington or if it's on the moon, it's going to be damn tough. Very difficult. They are kind of reeling. Ohio State has not won a Big Ten championship since 2020. That's been a minute. Michigan won it. Oregon won it. Indiana won it. Not Ohio State. So, yeah, there is some pressure on Ryan Day. That'll be a pressure-packed game, but what a fun one that will be. Going to the big house and that opportunity, you've got USC and Lincoln Riley coming to Bloomington. That's some unique storylines. Now the times will not come out for quite some time. That will be TV based and marquee games, yada yada. But the funny thing is, Indiana played in and won 4 of the top watched college football games last season. And they were in, I think, the first and the second most watched, the championship game. And I forget which was the second. Maybe it was the Oregon game. I don't know. But next year they open with North Texas, a team that flirted with the college football playoff as a group of 5 representative this year. Metzenmaker was a great quarterback, but now they have Taven Jackson, the former Indiana quarterback, who will basically end his career, at least the opening game, in Bloomington. Just a little odd. And then this is going to be, I wonder if Howard has an actual live, not live, but, a mascot, because they are the Bison. So the Bison will meet Hoosier the Bison. And then a familiar name, Western Kentucky, as Indiana will roll through its 3-game non-con. I bet you they wish they would have scheduled one of these later on here. Northwestern, the first Big Ten game. Their first 4 games are at home again. 4 straight home games. So the entire month of September. First game is September 5 on a Saturday. The next 4 Saturdays, you're going to be able to stay in Bloomington, peeps. You can leave your tailgate stuff set up. Hell, just kidding. I don't think they let you do that. But wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, 4 games straight at home to start the season. Don't have to go anywhere. Then a nice little jaunt up to Piscataway. Go to Rutgers. Shouldn't be too bad. Be 5-0. Should be 5-0 easily. Then comes, and these are all successive games. Again, no break. Then the second game in October after Rutgers. The Hoosiers have to go to Nebraska. Yeah, Nebraska's not much. I don't have a lot of belief in Matt Rule and what he's doing there. Lost his quarterback. They've just haven't looked good. But Nebraska is a tough place to play. And if you haven't been, you should go. Great fans. I mean, they love their football. Been sold out since 1769, I think. Just kidding. They've sold out like 80 times for 80 years in a row or something's crazy. But after you go to Nebraska, the Hoosiers will come back home and host the Ohio State Buckeyes the very next week. Again, no break. 1 bye this next season. Then after hosting the Ohio State Buckeyes, they get to travel to Ann Arbor to take on the Wolverines. Back-to-back, Ohio State and Michigan. Ohio State at home, Michigan on the road. Great opportunity for Indiana to go get them a win where they have it in, barely ever in a long time. They'll finish that stretch off with a home game against Minnesota. Then they get their first and only bye of the season after that last 4-game stretch. That includes games at Nebraska, home against Ohio State, at Michigan, and then home against Minnesota. Then they get their only break, it's not, they shouldn't call it a bye, but off week after playing, 7 straight games? Or more than that. You got the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 games without a break. I know this is how they used to do it. We're kind of talking about it, or I'm kind of talking about it like it's this big deal. Not really, to be honest with you. It's how it used to be. Then USC comes to Bloomington. They follow that up with a trip out to Seattle, Washington. That is a tough place to play, and Washington is a good program under Jed Fish. They have played well and expect them to be well again. Then they come back and welcome the Boilermakers to Bloomington. So What will they do next year? I don't know. Could they go 12-0? Yes, they could. They absolutely could. It's going to depend on the defense. The offense is going to be spectacular. You got Josh Hoover, Turbo Richards, Nick Marsh. These are all new guys. Then you've got guys that are here. Offensive line. They're going to be good on offense. It's how good will the defense be? A lot of key pieces back. A lot of key pieces back. And that is huge. I'm not predicting anything. Just because I don't know what any of these other teams are going to have. Ohio State's going to be good. Michigan's under a new coach, which they will definitely be better offensively, which is where they suffered. So I would not be surprised if Michigan is good next year. Cal Whittingham knows what he's doing. They didn't just hire him to navigate through the crap that they have been living in at Michigan for the last several years. He's a good coach. And now he's got resources that he never dreamed of having. I don't know that he really expected to be where he is, but then again, there could have been tampering before that. How about the rampant tampering in college football? Yikes. We'll talk about that and more once we return. You're listening to Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat Radio, back with more right after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on the Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Looking for a place to have fun with the family, friends, or both? Head to Dave & Buster's by College Mall in Bloomington. Dave & Buster's has a wide array of games for everyone, and Sunday is fun day, half off of all games. There are $10 wings, $5 drafts, $5 margaritas from mom and dad watching the IU games on Dave & Buster's giant wall TVs and flat screens. Head out to the new Dave & Buster's by College Mall in Bloomington. Eat, drink, play.
Fortunately knocked him down, and that got us going back again.
Jim, the last one, Aaron.
Darren, Nick Dorn has become a dude for you guys, and you kind of needed that. You had Tucker and Lamar, who was carrying a lot of the weight, but how important is it to have yet another guy step up like he consistently has in these last few games?
Yeah, he's been great, and you could see him, from early in the year when he missed time and stuff. It takes a while when you're out that long just to get back in shape, then to get into game shape, and then find that rhythm back. And you can really see here the last couple of weeks he's starting to find it, and then the playing time started to come up and increase. So he's finding, his spots, where he fits in our offense, and our guys know where he is too. So he's gotten very comfortable in that, and as you can see, he's not afraid. So he'll let him go, and that's a great another option for us to continue to utilize and even grow into finding more ways to get him free.
That was Coach Darren DeVries of Indiana after last night's win over the Purdue Boilermakers, number 13 Purdue. His first win over a ranked team. Much needed for that team and their resume. But talking about Nick Dorn, and I asked him about his performance because he has really become a consistent contributor, and it's huge. It was funny. I asked. And I kind of got lucky there and was able to find that question without looking where it was. But I asked Nick Dorn about it myself, and he kind of didn't really – it wasn't him that answered it as much as it was Connor Enright who stepped in. I'll see if I've got this kind of near it.
Everything and connecting and covering for one another when we need to.
Connor, you were part of big wins with Tucker and Darren at Drake, and obviously tonight was a big game. What was different about coming into this game tonight and to have this first signature win at Indiana? What are you kind of feeling, and what was tonight like for you?
Well, it feels awesome now. I'm tired, but it was great. So I think just we've changed our mindset these last couple of weeks in practice, and I think it shows on the court. How we are as a team, and I think it's good for the second half of Big Ten play for a brand new team.
For either one, what were the huddles like down the stretch when Purdue was making that final run? Was it player-led, coaches-led? What was kind of being said during that final stretch?
It was both. We had a bend but don't break mentality. We know that they're going to go on runs. It's a game of runs, and we just had to be able to weather the storm and be able to push for what we needed and finish plays. That was a big emphasis in our huddles, was finishing plays, finishing with rebounds, and being able to secure the ball.
For either one of you guys, obviously no Tatum Conaway tonight, but you had Josiah Miles step up in a few different ways, obviously with his energy. Just how big was he not only in the first half, but also in the second half, a guy who obviously hasn't been in the rotation super consistently throughout the season so far?
Yeah, he's been doing a good job bringing in practice every day. Like, he's our most physical offensive rebounder, plays hard, so he played awesome tonight. I think he's doing a good job of stepping up when his number's called, and I think we got a lot of the guys on our team that can do that, but I'm super proud of him. He's been playing great.
Nick, this team has been kind of looking for a third guy, and you have been kind of rising up as the year has gone on, getting past the injuries. How important is a game like tonight for you to just continue to add that on to how your season is going so far?
I mean, it's just something else to build off of. I mean,
it gives our team a lot more options. Yeah, I'll say that, because when Tucker and Lamar are doing what they're doing, and then you got Nick hitting 6 threes a game, it's hard to guard. It leaves me and Sam or Reed out there with plenty of options.
That was both Nick Dorn and Connor Enright actually giving the answer. Nick, probably hard to talk about yourself. I get that, but no, but he adds another dimension to that team, and a team that doesn't have. That's the reason that is so important. They don't have much. There's not a lot of options there. So for him to give them that extra option, and that in turn provides other options. That's the great thing about it. That's how it expands and helps them succeed. That's how you beat a number 13 team. That's how you beat a team like Purdue, who was better than you are. Let's be honest. They have more talent than you do as a team. But doesn't mean you can't beat them, because they showed that they can. But you have to do certain things without question. You have to do specific things to win. And they did. And they did it with a small group. That's sometimes remarkable, because you got to stay out of foul trouble. And that wasn't even close to becoming an issue last night, which for Indiana, a little surprising. As a matter of fact, they had 15 total fouls. Purdue had 16. Wasn't a lot of free throws shot. That's something else I noticed. Let's see. Purdue shot 15. Indiana ended up shooting 19, but some of that was coming at the end of the game.
I remember at one point both teams were at like 14 free throws, and it was kind of late in the game. So there wasn't a lot of, we didn't have 35, 40 free throw attempts, which is great. Only a total of 16 personal fouls, like I said, for Purdue, 15 for Indiana. So the guards were able to take care of biz without fouling and without Tate Conaway. I mean, if you'd have told me Tate Conaway's not playing in that game, and you asked me what are their chances of winning, I would have already thought that they were slim. And you take him out, I'm like, oh boy. But Nick Dorn and Connor Enright, you got to give him some flowers, have made a difference. Nick Dorn's play and Connor Enright stepping up into a different role. It's the next man up mentality. And he's done it without fouling out, taking care of business. He's not, I mean, look at him. He shouldn't be a Division I basketball player. He's 5'0", or maybe 6 foot. I'm not sure. But, you get my point. He's a dog, though. He's a dog. He's scrappy. He's going to be diving on the floor. He's going to be playing hard defense. He's going to take a charge, and then he's going to take another charge. He does it so often. He's so good at it. Little things. If you know you're not the prolific three-point shooter, what else can I do? I tell you the one thing that I'd like to see somebody step up for that team, make a difference. It'd be the rebounder. Who the hell's the rebounder? Well, right now it's the guards. Tucker DeVries and Lamar Wilkerson. They had 17 of Indiana's 28 total rebounds. The rest of the team managed 11. The entire rest of the team. 2 for, and Reed Bailey, 2 rebounds. Come on, man. But looking across the sheet, what was it, Jacobson? He was their big guy, right? Jacobson and Clough, 5 and 6 rebounds. That's not bad. That's what they're supposed to do. So their big guys pulled out 11. Sam Alexis and Reed Bailey total 3. Yeah, there you go. Hey, man. Oh, no, we got more. But a great night for the Hoosiers. A great win. Now they've got to follow it up. Their shooting was pretty good. 46% overall. They shot 36% from 3. That's not great, but it was good enough because Purdue only attempted 20, but Indiana put up 33. And there was a difference of 5 made 3-pointers. So that helps. Purdue shot 48% on the night, 26 of 54. Indiana, 23 of 50. But the difference again, those 5 made 3-pointers and the free throws. As I mentioned, free throws. They're free. And Purdue was horrific. 8 of 15. Yikes. Man, looking forward to tomorrow. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss anything I was going to talk about. Yeah, I mentioned this earlier, but how about Clemson just flat out outing Paul Golding and Ole Miss for tampering? And this has to happen. It has to happen. If people want it to stop, it has to happen. For the head coach to be doing this, I hope they kick his ass. I mean, all this. Here's what's going to happen, though. This is going to be a fine, money. They will not be. I would be more than shocked if they're given any kind of postseason ban. They're not going to do that anymore. But it's deserved here. You flat out, without even giving a care, just trampled over one of the few existing rules that are left. It's pretty brazen. And Dabo Swinney is not one that usually will take things light. I mean, he did what I would expect him to do, as he should have done. He was not exactly one of the first to really charge into the transfer portal era. And so this probably really got to him, like I said, though, as it should. We'll see what happens. And we'll see if there are any more like this that happen. Ole Miss and Paul Goody were just stupid. They did this by text and all this. So all the evidence is there. And we'll see what the NCAA is able to do. What teeth that they might have. You know, and speaking of football next year from a conference standpoint, I still think that the SEC is going to, because they already are. Texas is, they're going to be number one, and Arch Manning's Heisman Trophy. No! I said it just drives me insane. There are no favorites. There should not be any favorites. There should not be any number ones. I know Vegas initially put Indiana and Ohio State as the odds-on favorite to win it. You don't even know what these teams have when you do that. How in the hell are you? That's just puff. I call it puff. It's like vaping. People that vape, I don't give a crap. I don't know why it's banned in so many places. Vape is short for vaporize. It's gone. It goes away. It's kind of like these teams each year. They get vaporized to an extent. Now, Indiana has certainly shown that they are worthy of those accolades of running it back because of what they've been able to keep and what they've been able to gain. Number one transfer portal class? Yeah, ding, that'll do it. Their recruiting class, we'll see where that ends up. But having the number one ranked transfer class, that's way bigger to me, way bigger than having the number one recruiting class. Because in the number one recruiting class, how many of those guys are going to be there 2-3 years from now? Not many, probably. I mean, look at Mensa from Duke. Had a 2-year deal. Yep, I'm coming back. Last minute. Yep, no, leaving. Oh, I know I got a deal signed. No big deal. Doesn't mean anything. They reached an agreement that Mensa can go play elsewhere, which is expected to be at Miami. Now, is that tampering of a different sort? I think my opinion is if an athlete is signed, he is off limits. If he has a signed NIL deal, off limits. Can't talk to him. You should not be able to talk to them. Mensa should not have been able to talk to anyone, his agent or whomever. Nope, got a signed deal. Can't. The kid that went, Brendan Sorsby, former IU quarterback, Cincinnati quarterback, now at Texas Tech. He had a signed deal at Cincinnati for a lot less money than Texas Tech was going to throw at him. As a matter of fact, I'm sure they threw enough money at him to cover the $1 million buyout that I believe he had. Now, I guess that's different. If you pay the buyout, But every one of these definitely, I think, should have a buyout equal to what the deal is. That might slow down this runaway train of every year transfers by certain guys. The best programs are going to lose guys. Indiana lost one of their defensive linemen. Man, they gained another one. But you're going to lose guys, but you're going to lose a lot less. Indiana has not lost much other than the guys that graduated and exhausted their eligibility. So we'll see how it turns out next year. But currently, right now, people probably forget about this or may not even know it. Indiana currently has the nation's longest home field winning streak in the country in Division I FBS football. Indiana currently has the nation's longest winning streak, period, in FBS Division I football. Indiana is the reigning national champion. I just said those 3 lines, and they're real. Wow. Yeah, wow. It's still hard to put that into perspective. Everyone asked me, how much fun was that? Well, I mean, I'm not going to say it wasn't enjoyable, but you are literally working so much. And I'm not saying that acting like that we're out there digging ditches the whole time. And that's what the job is. But we're not hanging around watching the games and just go, oh man, oh wow, isn't that cool? Oh wow, look at that. You're always either engaged in something or doing something media related, working, going. So you don't really, you get to enjoy the aspect of the job you're doing, as you should. And I love it, baby. Love being here with you guys each and every day. Appreciate you. Had an easy pedestrian day today. Back tomorrow with Coach Griff will join us. And then and how about Al Unser Jr.? Yeah, we'll do some, I saw him cheering for the Hoosiers. We'll talk some auto racing and some football. So all kinds of good stuff coming up, including on Friday. Well, that's actually Friday's when we'll hear from Al Jr. I'm sorry. Got you excited there. But it's still coming up on Friday. We'll have great stuff tomorrow. Go out, have yourselves a great day. Appreciate you. Until then, stay tuned for Glass. Back with more tomorrow. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.